Hello tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. I'm shooting this back to front again, as in doing face to camera last. Building the 1 in 72 special hobby ME109 E Mark 1, the lightly armed Emil, so just 4 machine guns. I've made this overly long when all I'm showing you is a cockpit that I'm building. It's one of Gav's videos. So thanks for stopping by and taking a look. There'll be a few updates on this. I'm trying to build this all in a week, to be honest. Not rushing it, but just I want to see this. I want to have a completed kit for a change rather than 1,000 hanging around. And I've really wanted to get back into my 1 in 72 scale aircraft. So join me at the bench. Right guys, we'll try this again, because by the look of it I was chatting away merrily as I do on my videos without actually pressing the record button. How many of us done that over the years? Right, this is the lightly armed Emil. Emil is just the nickname the Germans, because it's the E model, it's called Emil. The F model would be called Franz, the G model Gustav, the K model Karl. I happen to like the E models, although I've got the fairly early war basic one here with the greys, and there's only one other option. There's 4 options you can have, I believe. The 3 options all come like this, apart from obviously the numberings and the squadron markings and personal emblems and stuff. And then there's a green one for the very early, like, I mean, they call it the phony war, but I don't think the Norwegians, the Brits and the French thought it was particularly a phony war up in Norway. Anyway, I've just always liked the Emil. I'm actually I've always said I'm an FW190 guy, especially the A models, but the Antons, I believe. But when I'm doing an ME109, I do love these E versions. I like to see them, whether they're in Spain, Battle of Britain, Battle of France, going into the Mediterranean and the Balkans in those early years, and early Barbarossa, I suppose, as well. But this is the lightly armed version, so she's got no cannon on, just 4 machine guns, 2 above the engine, and 1 either wing. So yeah, yeah. Sorry, I've head problems today, and I'm struggling to actually get my words out and stuff. Right, and this is all Gav's built. Gav, you're doing a video and this is all you've built? Yeah, it is. I built this last night. Everything went together okay, I believe. I'm looking at different bits and hoping it's all gone together okay. I've done it in this, I've got some German primer grey. This is all AK, real colour next generation. I've not sprayed this, it's just gone. I don't spray at night in that, because it's too disturbing with the compressor going. So I only do my spraying, because I use mainly lacquers, and I spray in the daytime. So I've done all this. I thought for the scale, you know, you're not going to really see brush marks. Maybe. It's not complete yet. It's got to have some Decal seat belts on, and because I'm doing this completely out of the box, and some Decal instrument panel. I've just actually about an hour ago put some varnish on. I've weathered it just using acrylic paint. Just gone round edges. I've done some chipping, which you can't really see, just in places with again with some aluminium chips from AK again. I don't know how well that's going to be. Don't know how dark these really were. I put a black background on, and then I'd got some oily steel that I was using on those 28mm Hussars. I'd still got on the wet palette, so that's what went on. But so far it seems to have gone okay. You know, it's all fitted together well. This part here, once you've stuck this to it, it goes down onto the cockpit floor. Holds everything in place, and I suppose at the right angle, we hope. So that, and the machine gun butts, and that will stick on here. I was a bit dubious about, obviously, because it wants you to paint it, especially as I was using it, brushing it would be a bit thicker. I was a bit dubious whether when I come to stick things on they'd actually hold, but I think with the modern glues and that and a bit of a scrape, I think that'll be okay. So that's my cockpit. I'll be doing some more tonight. I haven't done any modelling for ages because I've had this stinking cold. I thought it was COVID at first, and I've never done a test in all these years of COVID because I hardly ever go out, and I don't meet anybody, and it's only in case my wife goes to work, and I've not actually picked anything up. And me and my wife both came down with this blooming cold. I mean, obviously it's just a cold, but it's when you the 1 in 350 scale HMS Kent I'm building, I've just got one radar installation to do, and it's all photo etch. And I thought, no, you know, when you're feeling rough with a cold and you've got CA glue and really thin, tiny photo etch, not a good chance. And I've been wanting to do this for a couple of weeks, but I've just, as I say, I've been doing I wanted to get ahead with the hussars and stuff, and I've been putting things off. So obviously lots of things you don't use. I'm not going to go into massive details. It looks like including one of the front of the armoured windscreen. Obviously there's going to be loads of versions. You don't use the drop tanks on these. Forgive all the writing, I've got head problems and I'm trying to work my way round. Because I've got PTSD and other mental health problems, as most of you know, but this is just in case we get anybody that's never been here before, I really struggle with the instructions. I can't seem to process them in my head. As you can see, I struggle speaking sometimes. It's a case of I'm trying a different approach now. I'm literally plastering everything with, and I'll keep this because I'd like to do so. If this goes together okay, for the price, which was about £13 from Jadlam, and that's including the delivery, you get, as I say, 4 decal options and engine in this and everything, you know. So I thought, well, if I write everything down now, everything that I do, even if I screw it up, if I've written it down, when I come to build another one, we're halfway there, if that makes sense. So I'm writing what the paint is. It says RLMO2. I'm not even sure. It doesn't say RLMO2 on my Real Colours bottle. It just says German grey green primer grey. I'm hoping that's the right colour. When I looked on photographs online of people's builds of this model, this appeared to me what they were using. Well, it might not be AK, but you know, it was that. So I'm hoping that I've got that right. If I haven't, it's something to learn to next time. But even that, they're showing it as roughly that colour. So I believe I'm all right with that. Little things like cutting stuff away. Again, you know, I can't get over enough to people. I know, you know, oh God, he's going on about his head problems again. But I'm saying this for all of us out there that have had problems. Modelling, figure painting, that I also do, obviously, it's a way of keeping, in my case, it literally keeps me alive. And it really helps you stay in the fight. And it's a bit galling that, as I say, even a simple thing of like cutting something away, if I don't circle that, even though I've read it and seen it, I'll go off and do something else without, and completely, even though that's staring me in the face. They couldn't have been a great set of instructions, I believe. There's a few things, like I've had to put RLMO2 on this side because it doesn't mention that when that gets put in the cockpit, although there's other things above it, it might not be seen, which is, hang on, let's just show you there, which is this piece here. Don't want to scratch anything off. You know, maybe it'll be seen, maybe, I don't know, but it didn't actually say do that side, so I've wrote that on there. So again, if and I will build more of these if I can get them to work. I've at least got some breadcrumbs to follow, if that makes sense. Again, I've had to put in first. Now that's as far as I've got. That's as far as I've got. Obviously, I mark it off with day glow stuff and whatever. But yeah, here's the machine guns. You get your two options, you know, whether you're just going to have them closed up or more detailed ones for you to see. Engines, they say you'll have to go and look at, they've got the stencils, but you'll have to look up for your own, well, options. Well, I'm not that, I am a rivet counter to a degree, but again, with all my head problems, I'm just trying to build an aircraft that looks decent, you know, and then everything else can follow afterwards. It's like learning to paint figures. I've had a lot of good feedback on those horses I was doing. You know, even a year or 2, 3 years ago, those horses would be completely different when I'm doing them for myself. So going back to the models, something like this, I'm happy to have a stencil on it. It's there. It might not be the one for that particular version, you know, the model that I'm doing with the rest of the decals, but it's there. I'll be happy with that for now. Again, I'm probably not going to spray do any airbrushing for the interior bits for now. I'll probably leave all that to the, I've got AK real colours for the on their set for the outside. Again, we've got our cowling options there for the whether you want to see stuff. I'm hoping it'll drop on and then I can just take it off and go da-da. Hopefully. I had a look online because I wasn't sure flap wise did they drop, whatever you want to call them, when they were on the ground, and all the ones I've seen they appeared to do so. I'm going to have the option for it open on the side. I won't have to do any easy line work because when as far as I know, when the canopies are off, because the wires go down and up, they rig the wires before the pilot takes off, I believe. Anybody wants to comment and just say no, you've got that wrong, Gav, or yeah, that's the right thing, please let me know. I think Jamie Hago on the one I've seen recently of his Edouard build, he explained that, which I never thought of, to be honest with you. But I'll go back and check his video. I am actually, before I actually do all the main sticking together bits and painting, I want to go back to his video and see how he does stuff. It's not on this particular model, but it's good enough. We've got a Messerschmitt ME109 Red 16. These are all A1s, and that was flown by Oberleutnant Fritz. Right, a slight interruption, although a great one, because I've just got another reference book delivered to me. Right, and as I've started speaking again, my pup who likes to gate crash everything is trying to gate crash it again. So sorry for any background clippy cloppy noise. That's Archie. He's 11 years old and he likes to let people know in YouTube land that he's around. Right, so I was going to say Oberleutnant Fritz Loskite. I don't know if I've pronounced that right, and to all my German friends I really apologise. That was flown in between May and September 1940. We won't go into the rest of the details, but they give a nice small bit of bio on his career in the Luftwaffe. It says he shot down 51 confirmed victories. He's said to have got as many as 68 victories in the air, although some sources say he achieved 51 confirmed. Oh, there's always somebody that's got to say different. This is the one I've chosen to do when I get round to it, as in colour wise. And this is another E version, and it's flown by Hauptmann Hans Trauloft at Saint-Omer in occupied France, and that was between July and August 1940, and that's the one I'm going to do. 53 confirmed victories in World War II, 5 in Spain, and he went on to a Lieutenant General rank in the Luftwaffe post-war. But this is the one I've decided to do. I just thought that the more cartoonish type of emblems, people will often rush to that, and I thought this one's a bit more, might be a bit more subdued, but I imagine not so many people might do this one, unless unless it was for the officer himself that they might have built it for. You can see there's a fair bit of stencil data on them all. I don't mind stencil data, even if it's teeny tiny. I just think it all adds to the build. Now this is the dark green one I was talking about. So that's in the Sitzkrieg, so the winter of 39-40, yellow 14 as you can see, and obviously it's got an attractive, I believe that's a squadron wide emblem, I think it said. Which on the broomstick emblem on the port side just under the cockpit, as other machines in the unit also did, so that's a standard one. You know, it'd be different to do. Not many people seem to do the very early war ones, but I really wanted to do a Battle of Britain one. And then the last one, which I was thinking about, didn't Airfix do this in their, is it their 1 in 24 scale 1970s rendition of the, well, not rendition, but their own version. I swear Greg from Greg's Models did this, because I just recognised the R. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he did. I did think of doing this one, and this is, oh, I should say, shouldn't I? Oberst Gerd von Massau, and that's Schasselheim in Germany, the winter of 39-40. And yeah, so there's two versions of the swastika. I do believe in putting them on my models. I don't believe, you know, in airbrushing history out. You don't learn things by hiding them away for future generations, if that makes sense. It's a historical. I build historical models. You know, I'd expect to see one of these on, unless you're vehemently against that type of thing. And obviously, that's your call. But what's good about having they've got two versions of it in here. You have to make them up, we'll see in a bit, but I've got an Airfix kit, and I said I'd never build it until I can, it sounds horrible, until I can get a swastika for the tail, but Airfix, I didn't know at the time when I bought it, don't do the swastika emblem in their decal sheets, which annoys me intensely, because I believe it should be up to us what we put on our aircraft, not Airfix. But I always said I wouldn't build it until I could get, you know, I haven't got enough models that I'd got spares to do it with. And when I looked on eBay at different, even second-hand sellers just selling an old yellowing thing, they all want way too much money. I mean, everyone was looking, between new and old decals, I think they're all going anywhere between £8 and £13 and for a whole sheet, obviously. And not a chance for a £9 mod. I bought it £9 including the postage from a second-hand seller. So she's been languishing in my stash drawer until I could find one to put on the tail. And it might not be the exact one, which is a shame, but it will be one that I can at least build that model, get it out of my stash. So that's that. Clear parts, I have opened them. They come in this bag. I've already clipped the little gun sight reticle off. Can we get closer? Put my finger underneath them. You be the judge. I'm not good enough to say if something's really clear or not, but that's good enough for Gav. So that's that. I've cut obviously some bits off the sprue. There's not, obviously you'd expect it's a 172 scale ME109. Well, let's just have a look. Tiny bit of flash on the tips of the props, nothing major. Spinners came off, and it's in the box somewhere. Oh, here it is. I'm not sure if you get more than one spinner actually. Spinner, but there's obviously bits you don't use, like the carrying rack for any bombs, or there's no bombs in here I don't think, but for the fuel tank, auxiliary fuel tank I should say. There's the legs, the struts, landing struts. Painted mostly green, apart from where you get the obviously metallised shot going up and down, or piston, whatever you want to call it. I think these are weighted on wheels. You'd be the judge. Does that look weighted onto you? It might be. Fairly big sprue attachments. So even if it's not, and give that one a bit of a file down, and unfortunately the top, I'm just going to have to give that a file down, and the top will have to try and do something with. The exhausts aren't opened up, but I mean they're absolutely tiny and quite flat on the ME109, so I don't mind that. Machine guns, very, very dainty, and they're going to be, I'm going to have to take those off with great care. What I normally do is take off the bit that I think is less, there's less tension in, so there's a chance of them snapping. These are the ones I'll be using though, because these are the ones that can be exposed. So that's that. Here's the all-important fuselage. Come on, decide to focus, there we go. I think the panel lines, again, who am I? I'm not good enough. You can see some detail here as well. I'm not good enough really to give you an expert opinion. So I'm trying to get me, there we go. But we can see lots of lovely rivet detail. Again, I don't know if that's all the rivet that the 109 had. Again, people better knowledgeable than me can make that decision. Our fueling points. But again, it looks great to me. I mean, look at that crisscross detail of the rivets there. Very nice. Engine block. Again, you could do if it requires it. I haven't really looked at any up-close engines. I mean, see we've got some type of wiring there by the look of it. I think that's wiring. I know you can add a tiny bit more probably, but I'll probably go with that for now. As I say, I'm just concentrating on making it look like an ME109 and not like the usual glue bomb and badly sprayed and all the rest of it that I can normally produce. So at the moment it's just try and get the basics right. Again, lovely detail. Flaps, you have to, if you want them on the upraised position, I take it that's in flight, would it be? Again, big sprue points unfortunately, but you have to cut the pins off, but obviously mine are going to be, I've noticed all the ME109s I've seen in wartime photographs, the flaps actually sit down. The tail flaps, they don't seem to have as much movement. I'll have to doubly check that because I was going to just have them very slightly inclined. Cowling, that's what we're looking at. Oh, lovely cowling there. Nice ME109 E cowling. So yeah, very nice. I think that's about it really. I would have a quick look. I'm not going to take the decals out the bag. It's a heat sealed bag, sticky one. But the only thing is, I'll say with these is, as you can even see through here, it's got that film on that some people are getting to grips with. Some people still hate. I will try and remove the film from this. You know it's all going to go pear-shaped, but I am going to try. Here's our swastikas. Make up how you want to make them up. As I say, we've got some nice artwork. Mine's just going to have what would appear to be like the shield, maybe from where it's originally based or raised from. We've got our, I probably won't try and take anything off this small, off the seat belts and off the instrument panels. I'll leave those as they are. And then obviously lots of little stencil data. I'm not going to try and take them off there either. I think surely they're going to be too small to really show up as you know, with that textured look to them as these guys have got. And that's it. So that's what I'm doing. A long video for what is this is the only bit that's been built so far, but you know, really enjoyable again. Even that's not brilliant when I look at it under close up, but we got to start somewhere. I keep saying this, start somewhere. How long have I come back into modelling? Now, whether all this forms up inside the... When I was doing Armour Hobbies Hurricane, which ended up going in the bin, I completely stuffed up all the getting it together, and it just gaps all over the place. It was heart destroying, really. So I'm hoping, and that's nothing to do with them, that's just down to me. As I say, it's just trying to process things in my head to get it to build right. But I'm hoping this goes together well. I would really like to start producing models of at least a quality that you know, they're not going to be something to get in a magazine, but they're going to look halfway decent, you know. All we can do is keep trying. So thank you very much. Coming up tomorrow, we've got a Napoleonic Hussar update. Hussar, I like saying that. We'll obviously have an update sometime in the week, because I would like to get all this done. Hopefully in a week. Where are we? Oh, I'd like to get all this done in the coming week. Just so I haven't got something that's half built yet again. You know, I'd like to see this through to the end and make it as best job as I can of it. So as I say, we just hope for the best. So yeah, we've got the Hussar update. I've got another Napoleonic update, because the plastic Napoleonic regiment that I built and painted, that's been based. I've painted the base. It just needs to get the tufts on, and then a last spray of varnish and a colour put on the eagle pole. So yeah, we've got a few things coming up. Thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look, and we'll catch each other soon on another video.